Yo, what's happening everybody? King GBL here and welcome back to a brand new Go Battle League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing some really fun battles with VENUSAUR. VENUSAUR in my opinion is quite underrated. Now of course with the update last season with the wing attack, last season we were just seeing an absolute ton, and I mean a ton of flyers. I feel like this season people are kind of trying to counter last season's meta. So you're seeing just a lot of lanterns, swampbirds, and VENUSAUR does very well against steel types as well. This Pokemon does a lot of neutral damage. Even if you do get a line to Noctowl, you can possibly take it out if you land 2 sludge bombs. So this Pokemon is insanely good in my opinion. And with how the meta is kind of shifting this season, VENUSAUR is a very good pick. Now in the back we're running double steel, but we've got Registeel and Galarian Stunfisk. I've only got a Raid IV Registeel, so it won't be as effective as some of the other ones, but it does get the job done here, and of course we want to protect the VENUSAUR against flyers in this lineup. Guys, as always, you know what to do. Drop a like, drop a sub, drop a comment. And I recently started a new Discord community and Twitter page. Links in the description down below if you're interested in those. Alright, so what's going on here? What's happening? Alright, we've got a Lantern. We're going to fire off this big Zap Cannon, which is going to either debuff it or take it. Well, it doesn't take it out. It's a bulky boy. Lantern is just so broken, and that is my main reason for wanting to run VENUSAUR. In the last video I was running Swampert double flyer. Now we're doing VENUSAUR double steel. So we're kind of doing like the opposite thing almost. Yeah, so the Lantern is shielding up here. They want to get rid of this Reggie. Can they farm us down? I might have just got to the Focus Blast, so the opponent is Furrow here. And the amazing thing about this team is we've got 2 answers for Lantern, so I can come in with either Pokemon here. I do decide to come in with the Galarian Stunfisk, because I know that the VENUSAUR has a positive matchup against the Whimsicott. I unnecessarily chip here because the opponent is double weak to my Sludge Bomb, so I could have just thrown the Sludge Bomb straight away. That's absolutely fine. Little Whimsy's not going to stand up to this whatsoever, and yeah, it doesn't matter what the opponent throws here. VENUSAUR will take out. I just had so many good leads with this because I was seeing a ton of Swampert and Lantern leads before. And even steel leads like against Registeel, I'm not too sure how it does it. I'm not sure if I've seen a Bastiodon, but I think with the rock and steel typing it'll be hitting for neutral damage, and I feel like it would be quite a decent matchup. Of course Bastiodon knows Flamethrower, so you might have to invest a shield or two, but I feel like that would be a decent match. And in comes the Scizor, and I'm like, what do I do with this bad boy? I try to catch something on the Registeel. Let's see what they're going for. X-Scissor. So I probably could have just farmed up a little bit, but I want to try and keep some health from my VENUSAUR, and the opponent comes in with a Charmer. They realize we've got a VENUSAUR in the front, so they're trying to get some sort of usage, but then they shield it, which is so weird. So I'm like, right, okay, you want to shield your Gardevoir? Let me go for another Zap Cannon here real quick. So the smart play would be to shield it again, but the opponent lets it go. So I'm like, okay, that's weird, and the opponent's got a VENUSAUR of their own. Like, what is this? I was not expecting to see more VENUSAURs, but they're using Razor Leaf. You definitely want to go for Vine Whip on VENUSAUR with the Community Day move of Frenzy Plant. If you don't already have a VENUSAUR build, you might have to TM it, which I know is a little bit rough. Charge TMs are a little bit hard to come by, so if you don't have one built already, you might not want to run it. But this is in Frenzy Plant range right here. If you guys don't have Frenzy, don't run VENUSAUR. I tried doing that before, and yeah, we're going to catch an X-Scissor on Galarian Stunfisk here. And these Mud Shots will be doing, well, neutral damage because of the bug typing. And we're going to go for Rock Slide because, again, they've got bug typing. So that'll do neutral damage as well. We don't have to commit to the Earthquake here. We can just do as much damage as we want with this. Scizor is more of a bulky sort of, or not a bulky, a glass cannon. So we can just throw whatever and that'll do a lot of damage. Let's have a look. How much does a Rock Slide do? I decided to build up the Earthquake just to be on the safe side, just to get him out of there. I know that I can live a move anyway, so I decided just to go for the max damage and get him out. But nice fun team by the opponent there. It's so weird, like, that happens to me quite a lot. You start running a Pokemon and then suddenly you start seeing it. It's like, okay, well, that's weird. But good games to the opponent there. I actually was seeing a few Meganiums today when I was running Swampert lead, but we get a very nice lead right here. We've got Lantern, and VENUSAUR is just going to eat this for breakfast. Now, in comes Dunsparce. I don't really have a good answer for this, so maybe staying in here would have been fine. I decided I'm going to come in anyway, and, you know, I can eat, like, 2 drill runs, basically, so I should be able to get a shield advantage off the opponent. We're going for the Focus Blast, which would one-shot it, basically. Now, the thing that you can take into consideration with Registeel, and if you're in a Registeel matchup, I would recommend actually going for Zap Cannon, because you can debuff the opponent, and that'll leave them in a position where they can't really, you know, one-shot you with the move. So we're going to go for the Zap Cannon on the second turn around, see if we can debuff it. I was expecting the double shield from the opponent. The opponent swaps into a Medi, and our best answer for this would be the VENUSAUR. VENUSAUR takes care of Medi very easily, especially with shields up. They can go for an Ice Punch here, which will do a lot of damage, to be fair. Yep, so we correctly shielded. Thankfully it wasn't a Power Punch, but I think VENUSAUR wins CMP anyway, so maybe it wouldn't have mattered too much there. We get off the Frenzy, and that'll take out the Medi. They come back in with the Dunsparce, and, you know, this is probably where I want to see it on this team. These drill runs do neutral damage because of the joint poison typing, and we're just going to fire off this big frenzy plant. Hopefully this will take it out or near enough, and we actually come into the stun fisk to try and get a little bit ahead on energy and get the farm down, which we just about do. And in comes Lantern again, and this is going to be a big earthquake, which will more or less one-shot the Lantern. It gets it down to about 10% health, and at this point we can tank maybe 1 or 2 surfs off it here. Yeah, maybe 2 would take us out just about. I can just go for Rock Slide at this stage. Don't need to commit to the big earthquake anymore, and you know, don't even need to bubble it because it is super low. Good games of the opponent, and as you can see, like, VENUSAUR is just putting in an absolute ton of work, and you're going to see some games here where I have to kind of dance around a little bit where we get countered with the VENUSAUR, and even in those situations you can get off a ton of damage, which is really nice about it. Yeah, with the Registeel and Stunfisk backline, you do have to stand against medis with the VENUSAUR, but it does have good matchups in neutral situations for sure. Now, we've got a Licky Tongue here. I'm like, okay, let me see here. We're going to maybe eat a body slam on this. We're going to overfarm a little bit. VENUSAUR, it's not like the bulkiest of all Pokemon, but it can take some hits, which is good. We'll farm up to the back-to-back frenzies right here, and see if we can catch something on the Registeel. Look how low we are. The Licky Tongue does a ton of damage. We do catch the body slam, which is resisted on the Regi, and hopefully we can get something here that we can hit. So like, even with this Medicham coming in, I'm like happy enough to see it here because I can get off a big Zap Cannon, potentially do a lot of damage and get a bit debuff or get a shield. So I'm happy enough. That puts it into frenzy range, and we'll see what the opponent wants to do. I was kind of tempted to shield it at this point because I was getting pretty close, but the opponent's running Dynamic Punch, which is an interesting move. We've got a frenzy banged on the Venu, and yeah, I'm just happy to get it out of here at this point. And the opponent shields, so I'm like, okay, this could end up getting ropey. I'm going to go straight for another frenzy. The opponent overfarms a little bit too much there, so maybe they're running Dynamic Punch and Psychic. We'll see what the opponent does here. Okay, so they actually swap out into their Licky Tongue, and I let them lick me down. But I do have 2 shields, and at this point I'm pretty confident. We're getting more lag, which I was just getting all day here. I'm pretty confident this will be a Power Whip, but we can eat that on the Stunfisk, even with the bad IVs. Stunfisk, it is better to have good IVs, but it's not the most needed Pokemon with good IVs. We've got 2 shields against the Medi. 1 Earthquake will definitely take it out. And, oh sorry, they've got a Bastiodon coming in here, so I'm going to farm up a little bit extra to 100 energy, which is unfortunate. And hopefully the Bastiodon doesn't get to a move here. Let's see if we can get the full farm down right here. So we are forced to invest a shield. The Medicham just left with a ton of energy, and I know they've got Dynamic Punch. So at this point, I'm forced to shield it up. I'm hoping, like, please don't bait me, but they go straight for the Dynamic, and a Rock Slide will take it out at this range. So it was getting a little bit sketchy. If they had a bait move, they might have been able to actually win that matchup right there, but the opponent stops tapping, and we'll just farm it all the way down. We're not going to go for the BM with the Earthquake. We'll just farm it all the way down and get on to the next match right here. I've been meaning to run VENUSAUR for quite a while, and I wouldn't say that I was surprised it was this good, but I was definitely, pleasantly surprised that it was doing so well in the meta. We've got a very neutral matchup here against Steelix. Of course, Steelix knows Earthquake, and it can do a lot of damage to my backline. So, like, I'm pretty cool with this. You know, of course, I do want to swap out at some point, and we do catch a Psychic Fangs here, which is kind of annoying. It's going to debuff the Regi, and they're coming in with Scrafty. Like, this is the guy you do not want to see. I go for the Focus Blast, which will guarantee a shield. I think in this current sort of meta, like, Scrafty is just not it at the moment. You're forced to shield up against basically Registeels. You might even have to shield up an Earthquake. We're going to come back in Mavinu here. We're going to call a Power Punch, see what they do. They go for an Acid Spray, so I'm like, okay, this is rough. Do I let the second one go as well? Okay, so I shield up the second one, and I'm expecting a Foul Play to come through here. Does the opponent want to shield here? If I was the opponent, I might have considered letting it go, because you could get a nasty farm down with something, but they go for the Foul Play. I decide to shield it up, and yes, we get to the Frenzy just in time to take out the Scrafty, so that should hopefully leave our Galarian Stunfisk feeling open in the back, and we'll just swap straight into it here. Just banking on the fact that something will be weak to it, and it is a Metagross. It is a Metagross. It takes them, I think, 9 moves to get to their Earthquake, 9 or 10. So they go for the Meteor Mash, and I'm really not too sure about the energy in the Steelix, so I'm just going to fire this off straight away. But I know that, you know, we've farmed up a little bit extra here, because I know that it'll take them 7 to get to the Meteor Mash. So I just made sure to come out of that matchup with, basically, you know, less than 7 moves required to get to the Earthquake. And that's a GG, good games. Metagross is a very funny pick here. And we go for a 5-0, like, straight off the rip. So in the last video, I was asking, do you guys want to see the losses? Well, there is no losses so far, so I'm just showing you all the wins here. That was my first set with it, and so far we're off to a very good start with VENUSAUR. Again, like pleasantly surprised. I thought I was going to see a ton of Noctiles, but I do see a lot more Lanterns in this current stage. So in comes a Stunk Tank. It's a bit of an interesting one. It knows Crunch and Sludge Bomb, both of which are neutral. I decided to swap out here, hoping the opponent went for the Sludge, but they do go for the Crunch, and they do not get the debuff, which is beautiful. We draw out the Swampert, and that's why you want to have double steal, just to draw out these Swamperts and things. If I was the Swampert, I would let this go, and yeah, the opponent does, wisely enough. The opponent's trying to just absolutely farm up a ton, and we're going to let this Hydro Cannon go, with no real need to— it's an Earthquake. That was so unnecessary by the opponent. I guess they just didn't want us to reach a second move, but I think a Hydro would have been the better play. And even though this is resisted, like, Skunk Tank can't really take a ton of moves. That does a lot of damage, and we just swap straight out again. So knowing that we've got the Swampert out of the way, we're doing super effective damage on this, and we're sort of hoping that we can do something in the back. Now, I started to see Ferrothorn quite a bit when I was running this team, and it is a bit of an awkward one. You want to go straight Earthquake on it, or, you know, go for the Rock Slide bait, but we have to stay in here because we don't really have any super effective moves against him. It basically is neutral the whole way across. It does neutral moves, we do neutral moves, and I'm happy enough just to, you know, get the shields or get the Earthquake damage off. Now we're going to go on ahead and go for a Rock Slide bait right here because the opponent, they invested their shield, and we're going to come in with Venusaur and go for the Sludge. I'm not sure if this is correct. I need to look up a simulation on this or something. Okay, so I looked it up on PvPoke, and the Sludge Bomb does 31 damage, and the Frenzy would do 25. So the Frenzy is probably like a little bit more efficient in terms of energy, but the Sludge Bomb will do more damage. So you probably just should go straight Sludge on that one. But that's fine. The opponent's disconnected or whatever here, and yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they got annoyed because I came in with Venusaur, or if they just, you know, thought they were going to lose and just closed the phone, or just, you know, I don't know, disconnected or whatever. But yeah, we're just going to come in here and farm this down, and we're on a 6 winning streak with this thing, which is quite nice. I do think I was going to win that match anyway, but the opponent does leave, and I guess we'll never know, but I think I was in the driver's seat there just about. It was a pretty close match, and but I think the Galarian Stunfisk as well was going to be able to clean up that, and whenever we got the swap out, you know, left the opponent in a bit of an awkward spot where we could throw off a Frenzy against the Stunk, and yeah, GG's to the opponent anyway. Venusaur into Frostlass. This is a bit of an awkward one, so I'm going to farm up to a Frenzy plant right here. I do not want to eat an Avalanche, but I'll take it on my Registeel, that's absolutely fine. Try to draw out any Swamperts or anything else in the back, and it is Medicham. Of course, we would prefer to see Swampert here, and the opponent's going to go straight for a move. Must be Power Up Punch. So they do that. I hate seeing Power Up Punch middies. They usually do have Power Punch in the back. Medichams in the lead will often have Ice Punch and Psychic, but the ones in the back often have Power Up Punch. So this is kind of rough for Venusaur. I'm just going to come in and go straight for the move. Like I said, we do win CMP on the midi, and the opponent lets it go, which I'm pretty happy to see actually. That sort of frees up the Galarian Stunfisk in the back. But this Frostlass is still a problem. Will they fall for it again? No, they actually don't. They bank up a ton of energy. And in comes Ferrothorn. I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake right here. The opponents often do let the first move go, so I'm pretty happy with that so far. I'm not too sure like if I'm able to win this. This is kind of tough right here. So we'll put up our first shield. I think, you know, with landing the Earthquake, we're in a better position. I could maybe even just start going for Rock Slides right here. We do let a Power Up go because I want to keep a shield potentially for Venusaur. We're going to go for another one right here. Let's see how much this will do. Yeah, so the opponent lets it go, and they come in with a Frostlass. Now, should I shield this up? I think maybe, yeah, because I'll be able to get off the Rock Slide. I may actually bank the rock Slide, and I come in with the Venu. The Venu's in very low health right here, so I'm not sure will I get off another Frenzy plant. I just about don't, unfortunately, and at the point I top left because the opponent's got a move sitting there, and Avalanche will take about half our health. So that came down to, you know, basically a couple of moves. If I was able to get another move off there, that would have been very, very close. But good games to the opponent nonetheless. And Venusaur into Swampert, there we go, just hard counter the lead and you'll win. In comes Pidgeot. And this is a lot more comfortable. This is a hard win for Galarian Stunfisk, as opposed to the Noctowl matchup, which is a little bit more awkward. But the opponent will probably go for a Brave Bird or debuffs or whatever here. If you guys did check out the video earlier today, we were rocking this thing, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. We're going to farm up a little bit more, leave ourselves a little bit of energy on the other side, and see if we can go for an Earthquake or whatever. That debuff is kind of annoying. Let's see if the opponent goes for the Brave Bird right here. They'll go for Feather Dance. So I think I can just about farm down here. This might be a Brave Bird, so Yeah, this is getting rough at this point. I'm really happy, like, look at my health right here. I cannot be farmed down with like a ton of energy, which is beautiful. And we can go for, like, even though it is debuffed, it'll do a decent amount of damage on the Swampert. If I was the Swampert, I would not have shielded that personally, because you know the Venusaur is going to come back through, but the opponent comes in with their Noctowl. They're running the Swampert double flyer team, but we've got the grass. We've got the grass double steel. We literally showcased this exact same team last video. So the opponent's probably thinking, like, what are the chances of this? I'm running Swampert double flyer and he's got Venusaur double steel. What is this shit? The opponent's probably not that happy here, and I think I'm going to go for the big farm down. So this is super easy at this point. We're farming down. This is an unnecessary farm down as well. But the opponent will just stop left here because there's literally nothing they can do. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. And another nice win there. Just hard counter the Swampert and you'll win. Easy stuff right there. But will we hard counter the next lead? Will we? Yes, we will. It is a Lantern. Now let's see what the opponent decides to do here. Again, you know, if we get the Lantern lined up, and they've got a Dragonair, which a Dragonair, I believe, I need to look this up again, but I believe Dragonair can probably win this in the 2-shield. Because the Dragon Breaths just add up so much, especially because I've got a Parivi Reggie. I feel like Dragonair actually might be able to flip this match, but they let the Focus Blast go, so I'm pretty happy enough with that, honestly. We'll get off a move against the Lantern here, or maybe the opponent comes in with something else. No, they do come in with the Lantern, of course. I'm happy enough here, just let everything go. We've got 2 hard answers to it in the back, and you know, even if we can get a shield off it, that would be perfect. We'll see what the opponent really wants to do here. They really shouldn't be shielding this, knowing that we have a Venusaur, so I'm happy enough just to get that chip, and I decided to actually aggro swap in, because I don't want the Lantern to get a ton of energy and stuff like that, and we have 2 answers to it, so I'm happy just to aggro swap. And now this is where you're going to see the Sludge Bombs. These threaten a lot of damage, and the Altaria gets to the moves a little bit slower than us, so we can just threaten just tons of damage. There we go, we've got the Altaria down to like 50% health, and are they going to go for the aggro farm down? I actually end up going for the Frenzy Plant right here because I didn't think I was reaching the Sludge. So that's a mistake on my part. A little bit rough there. I come in with Stunfisk and try to get some energy here. These moves are going to do basically nothing, and the opponent should come back in with Altaria. Now, I should have swapped out to Reggie at that point, expecting that attack, but we're still in a pretty good position here. We can go straight Rock Slide. I can shield this up as well, I think, and this is going to be perfectly fine. We're going to go for a Rock Slide, which will do a lot of damage to the Lantern. It is in Rock Slide range pretty much at this point. And I might even consider going for a catch right here. No, I realize we're getting to the move before they get to the surf. There's no need to mess around and be too fancy with it. So you don't always have to catch guys. Like, if you're getting to the moves, there's no need to do unnecessary catches, but that is definitely what I was thinking about at the time. If I need to, if the opponent is going to get to the move first, I will go for the catch, but in comes the next opponent here. It's a Jellicent, so again, just hard counter the lead, and you'll be fine. But the opponent is actually staying in here for a minute, so we decided to throw off a Frenzy Plant. See if the opponent wants to shield it. They do, so I'm thinking they must be super weak to Venusaur in the back if they're staying in this matchup right here. I foolishly let the Shadow Ball go. I should have realized that. I realize that now looking at it. I should have realized, like, yeah, that's, you know, that's a very positive for Venusaur in the back if they're doing that. I shield up the first one, they go for the Rock Slide. I'm going to go for the, am I going to go for a Rock Slide or Earthquake? I go for the Earthquake. And this matchup was just so annoying for me, because I was miscounting the energy, and because they baited it, it threw off my energy count, and for some reason here I thought that this would not be an Earthquake, so like I completely screwed this matchup. If I had have just played it correctly, I would have been able to take this one easily enough. So definitely a big misplay on my part. We got a really good lead, and it just goes to show you, like, you know, even if you do get a bad lead sometimes, don't just quit out. The opponent swaps in here and they go for a move as well. So like, again, that's like another mistake. You know, I could have thrown off the damage. But I'm happy enough just to take this out here, and I think we'll swap into the Venusaur. Let's see what the Venusaur can do. We're almost at 2 moves right here. Let's see how much damage this will do. It'll do a lot of damage. But we actually just about miss out. The 1-turn lag when we swapped in basically cost us that one. And yeah, we're not going to be able to farm down. The opponent reaches a Rock Slide, and yeah, man, like that's tough. Like, if you see an opponent staying in there, you do want to shield that. I thought that the opponent, I didn't think the Shadow Ball would do that much damage, and I thought the opponent would want to bait it, and then I messed up on the Rock Slides. It was just a complete mess on my part. It's probably my least favourite matchup in the entire Go Battle League, Stunfisk versus Stunfisk, with the Rock Slide baits. It's one of them ones where it's a 50-50, it's a coin toss, and if you call it, you look like a genius, and if you don't, you look like an idiot. So, you know, it's just, maybe I shouldn't be too harsh on myself. You know, next time I'll call it correctly. But as you guys probably seen from the video earlier with Swampert, like, I was making the wrong calls on that as well, so I should probably just do the exact opposite of what I'm thinking currently. But we do get the Medicham in the lead here, which is nice. It's not like the most, super comfortable matchup for Venu, but definitely a lot better than it would be for Reggie or Stunfisk. The opponent does shield here, so I'm pretty happy to see that. We'll get off a decent amount of damage here at least, and maybe get some shields off the opponent. They power up punch beat us, which is pretty annoying. So this move that they'll go for will do just a lot of damage here. And I'm about to make a really hilarious play here. Let's see if it'll work out for me. So I'm counting up here. I think, do we shield this one up? Yeah, we do shield this one up. We're trying to get all the shields down here at this point. And I'm expecting the opponent to go for like a Psychic here at this point. And yeah, I swap into my Registeel with like a ramped up Medicham. So as you can see, like when they've got Power Punch, it is so annoying to deal with. And they're going straight for another one. So they would have been at the Psychic there. So I think I tried to catch on a good time, but yeah, can I even get off a Focus Blast here? This needs to do a lot of damage. This is getting super rough here. At the very least, like, we've got the shields off the opponent and everything. But yeah, like, this is so bad right here. I need to, at the very least, farm this down. The opponent goes for another Power Punch. We just about get the farm down. Now, we need this just to be double weak in the back. They go in with Ninetales, and I throw the wrong move as well. It's like, it's going from bad to worse here. I just threw the Frenzy Plant. The Sludge Bomb would do a lot more damage, obviously, to the Fairy type. Can this work to our advantage, though? Can we get, like, maybe a little bit of extra farm with it? That might be the only way to win this. The Weller Balls aren't doing too much damage, and I decide to go for the Rock Slide here, just get it out. Hope that I can one-shot something in the back. So we get that out of there, and it's a Gramble. I'm like, oh, I am so lucky. I am honestly so lucky, because that opening sequence was just a mess. So you can tell that I was a little bit, like, after that Galarian Stunfisk matchup, I was definitely a little bit tilted by it, and my plays started to get a little bit weird. So I would highly recommend, like, here's probably the best tip of all. If you're starting to get tilted, put the phone down and go away for an hour and come back, you know. I think I stopped that match, I got off, I was like, okay, that'll do for the video. And then, like, 20 minutes later, decided, okay, I've got one set left, I might as well just play it out. And as you can see, my gameplay is just suffering as a result of it. But at the very least in this battle, we've got a good lead, and we've got a Stunfisk. I'm happy enough to kind of stay in here with the Stunfisk for a while, and try to either take it out or get a shield off it, because it's not a particularly comfortable matchup for my backline here. I hate the mirror match, and I'm not trying to go back into that, so I'm just staying in my Venu, and getting the shields off the opponent. And we do, of course, IPS to the Earthquakes. The opponent will have to go for a bait here, but I'm just not taking any chances at this point. I just want to get it out of here. I'm not trying to put it on my own Stunfisk. And we'll overfarm just a little bit here, and you know, go for a Frenzy before they get off the Rock Slide. So this is nice. We do take out the Stunfisk. They've got a shield advantage, but you know, this is fine. We'll go for a big Sludge Bomb on the Trevenant, and I feel like, you know, between Registeel and Stunfisk, I should be able to deal with this thing. So I'm going to try to go for a catch right here, and we don't successfully catch, but we're going to eat a move on this nonetheless. I was feeling like they might have thrown a Seed Bomb there, because the Venusaur is getting quite low. But actually, looking at it, the Seed Bomb wouldn't have really taken out. I'll go for this big Zap Cannon here, which will get the debuff, hopefully. And I think, like I said, between Stunfisk and Registeel, they should be able to take out this Trevenant. Now, they come in with the Azu, and I'm hoping, with all hope, that I get to the Zap Cannon. I really need to get to it. This is going to just absolutely do a ton of damage. And it should hopefully let me farm down with the Venusaur. Was that a CMP tie right there, or just before the CMP? That worked out perfectly. The opponent Ice Beams, which doesn't even take out, but it does allow them to get another farm, which is not ideal. The switch timer just came back up there, so we're going to come in with Venusaur right here. Go straight for this. I'm not messing about whatsoever. I'm just getting this thing out of here. I definitely could have overfarmed a little bit, but that's absolutely fine. And we're just going to come in with Galarian Stunfisk and go for one Rock Slide, and that will take this matchup right here. So even against other opposing grass types, the Sludge Bomb just does a ton of damage. Of course, Trevenant, it is just neutral damage with the Sludge, but it still does a rip of damage. They go for the Shadow Ball, and it is getting close here, but I know that I should be able to IPS to this Frenzy right here, and this will be a good game. Don't even have to go for the Sludge on this occasion, but Venusaur, guys, is an absolute beast. I definitely recommend trying it out, and this team worked really well with it. If you did enjoy today's video, drop a like, drop a sub. Check out my Twitter and Discord, which will be in the description down below. Everybody, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for all the support in the videos, man. Much appreciated. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow for a brand new video.